Assalamualaikum and a very good morning I wish to all of you. Today we want to discuss about how to save environment. I am sure that every one of us has our own opinion and thought with this topic. Before we proceed with our discussion, we would like to introduce ourselves. My name is Nur Najiha Alinshira bin Tarudin.
And my name is Muhammad Hatim bin Hayat Elias Ismail.
My name is Ni'aiman Shazwan bin Azman.
Okay. Before we proceed our discussion in details, let me explain about the environment. The environment is something important in human life, regardless of race, religion, and country. This environment includes areas of green plants, air and water, such as rivers and seas. Today's environment is getting more polluted because there are irresponsible parties who have done pollution such as dumping garbage in rivers, using chemical fertilizers, and many more. The environment should be protected because the environment is not only used now but will be used for hundreds of years to come. According to the results of a study made by the Department of Environment, as many as 91% pollution incidents, especially river pollution in our country, are caused by excrement, whether it is animal excrement or human excrement. Because of that, today we will discuss the steps that can be taken by the community to preserve the environment. So, Aiman, can you start our discussion by giving your opinion?
Okay, thank you, Jeha. My first point is 3R. Reduce, reuse, and recycle are three fundamental principles of sustainable waste management and research conservation that can significantly contribute to the fight against climate change. Here's an explanation of how each of these principles can help mitigate climate change. First is reduce. We also can reduce resource conservation. Reducing consumption and waste generation is the most effective way to combat climate change. When we buy and use fewer products, we decrease the demand for raw materials and energy intensive manufacturing processes, which in turn reduces greenhouse gas emission. We also can reduce energy savings. Producing and transporting goods consumes energy, much of which comes from fossil fuels. By using less, we reduce the energy required for production and transportation, resulting in fewer carbon emission. Reduce also can do a emission reduction. When we reduce our consumption of goods and service, we also reduce the carbon emission associated with their production, packaging, and transportation. Secondly is reuse. We also can reuse extended product life. Using items like clothes, electronics, and furniture extends their lifespan, reducing the need to manufacture new product. This, in turn, decreases the emissions and energy associated with production. We also can reuse less waste. Reusing items means they are less likely to end up in landfills or incinerators, which can produce methane, a potent greenhouse gas, and other pollutants. Lastly is recycle. We also can recycle resource recovery, like recycling conserve resources by recovering valuable materials from waste and diverting them from landfills. Recycling aluminium, for example, uses significantly less energy than mining and refining new aluminium. We also can recycle energy saving. Many recycling processes use less energy compared to the production of virgin materials. This reduces greenhouse gas emission associated with the extraction and processing of raw materials. Uh, we also can recycle, reduce landfill emissions, like recycling help reduce the volume of waste in landfills, which decrease methane emission as organic material in landfill decompose anaerobically, producing methane, a potent greenhouse gas. I think that's all from me. How about you, Hatim?
Okay, thank you, Aiman. I'm fully agree with you. Besides that, public should be more involved in the fight against climate change by supporting local initiatives. Local governments can spearhead policies and initiatives that reduce carbon emissions. This might include investment in renewable energy projects, improvement in public transportation, and the implementation of recycling programs. Additionally, community workshops and DIY projects also include in-depth initiatives such as offer workshop on upcycling DIY craft and repair skills to empower individuals to find new uses for old items. Public need to organize community-wide or workplace challenge that encourage individuals or team to reduce their waste over a specific period. This is the waste reduction challenge that recognize and reward participants for their effort and achievement. In an era where consequences of climate change are becoming increasingly evident, it is imperative that we all take action to reduce our carbon footprint, like renewable energy, consider transitioning to renewable energy sources such as solar or wind power for your home. Many regions offer incentives that many regions offer incentives and subsidies for renewable energy installations, making it a financially viable option. Uh, Transportation choice also one of the way to public to be involved in the in the fight in climate change. Your choice of transportation has a significant impact on your carbon footprint. You can reduce it by using public transportation, carpooling, or ride sharing. Switching to a fuel efficient of electric vehicle and biking or walking for short trips. I think that is very helpful idea from me. So how about you, Najiha?
Thank you, Hatim. My first point is based on Iman's explanation just now, which is recycling. Recycling is reusing used materials into other useful materials. For example, rainwater reservoirs can be used to water trees or plants that we plant in the yard. Other materials such as plastic, glass, and electronic materials that do not work can be donated to recycling operators. Every material has the potential to be reprocessed into goods that are useful to society without having to waste new resource. Lately, clothing companies such as shoes and bags are starting to use used material as basic materials in their new products. With the awareness of large entities in caring for the preservation of the environment, they can become a medium for part of the community to be aware of its benefits. By doing so, we can not only save the environment, but it can also help us become prudent consumers and not spend a lot of money in the face of economic challenge. that have increased the cost of living. In addition, taking care of cleanliness of the river is also one of the best ways to take care of the environment. This effort is important because the river is the main source of water supply for humans and animals. To ensure that the river is protected from any pollution activity, all members of the community must be actively and collectively involved in making all campaigns involving the river a success. River cleaning activities must be carried out periodically. The community also needs to avoid the habit of throwing garbage into the river because that cursed act will bring harm to all of God's creatures. A clean river can be guaranteed good health in addition to being able to protect the environment from natural disasters such as floods. My last point is a role by the school. The school needs to play a role by organizing a program or environment loving campaign every year and fostering an attitude of love for the environment. With this, students will increase their knowledge about the goodness and importance of taking care of the beauty of the environment. For example, the school can implement a variety of more interesting activities to make students interested in participating in activities for campaigns, like the environmental quiz, environmental adventures. Environmental adventures can also be implemented by involving teachers and students in order to provide exposure that can open students' mind about the importance of the environment at this time. In these activities, teachers should guide students to learn more about the species and life of the environment so that they can learn about various initiatives to preserve the beauty of the environment. Indirectly, future generations can also enjoy the beauty of the environment. With this approach, negative values in students can be avoided so that they do not become a burden to the country in the future. The example of the negative values is selfish values. Therefore, teachers should be concerned and always try to mobilize energy to carry out these campaigns and activities so that they can instill the practice of loving the environment in the students. Um, how about you, Hatim?
Thank you, Nadia. What a good idea from you. I'm agree with you. But in my opinion, involving the public in the fight against climate change through raising awareness, providing practical guidance, and celebrating successes, we can motivate individuals and communities to embrace these principles and collectively work towards a more sustainable future. Climate change is a challenge that affects us all, and by involving the public in these efforts, we can create a united front to combat this global crisis. Lastly, let me choose one of the best way to involve public in the fight against climate change. Based on my observation, I think that 3R, reduce, reuse, and recycle, is the best way to involve public in the fight against climate change because it is a multifaceted but achievable goal. It requires a combination of education, community engagement, government policies, and individual actions. So, how about you, Aiman? Do you agree with me?
Thank you, Hatim. I agree with your choice. I think 3R is the best way to reduce climate change because it is an important framework for addressing environmental issues, including climate change. It's not necessarily the sole or best way to reduce climate change. Climate change is a complex global problem that requires a multifaceted approach involving various strategies and action. Uh, how about you, Jiha?
Thank you, Aiman. I'm also agree with you, Hatim. We need to practice 3R because it has many benefits to the environment. When we can recycle used product consistently, we are actually able to save useful resource for the needs of plants and animals. With this, the life and ecosystem in the forest will always be preserved and controlled. The balance of this ecosystem is very important to ensure that plants and animals are not hit by extinctions. That's all from me. Do you want to say anything, Ayman?
I think the conclusion of our discussion today is reducing climate change requires a concerted effort from individuals, communities, business, and government worldwide. Transitioning to clean energy, improving energy efficiency, adopting sustainable transportation, conserving forests, and implementing carbon pricing are among the many strategies that can help mitigate climate change. By taking this action collectively, we can safeguard our planet for future generations and create a more sustainable and resilient world. I think that's all from us. Thank you.